Spiegelman.
Okay, friends, so we'll go ahead and begin with reciting the Namo Tassa and the three refuges for those who like to join. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Welcome, friends, to this Wednesday evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. So after 1 week of not having our program, I hope you're all able to at least keep your meditation up over the last week. And as I mentioned in the mailing, so tonight I wanted to have a questions and answers session, because what we've gone over in the last couple of months was, very deep aspects about meditation, the five aggregates, and meditating on them is really the essence of developing, insight and insight and wisdom into the nature of impermanence and ultimately no self. So I want to open it up to anybody. If you want to write a question in the chat box, you can do that. Or you can raise the golden hand and and then ask a question. Could be on anything related to meditation or the Dhamma. So please, try to think of something, some question.
Bhante, good evening. I
Hello.
have two questions.
Yes.
Okay, the first question deals with ignorance, underlying tendencies, and the taints. So, to my understanding, ignorance, along with underlying tendencies, have no beginning and they arise together. Ignorance supplies the underlying tendencies with some energy. Um, and then when the underlying tendencies come in contact with something, they create the taints. And then the taints reinforce the ignorance, and then the ignorance reinforces the underlying tendencies. So we have a cycle, a loop, a closed loop between those three entities. And first of all, is that correct?
It's pretty much correct. Yes.
Okay. So once that's done, the only way to remove the the taints, the underlying tendencies, and the ignorance is either by reversing the 12 links of dependent origination with the cessation of ignorance, or we can do it at the feeling, um, uh, where feeling arises in the 12 links of dependent origination, or we can achieve it at the becoming stage. One of the three, but generally it's at ignorance or feeling. Is that correct?
Uh, yes, it's correct, but I would say it's you're always going to have feeling. You can't do anything about feeling. You cannot react to it, but that's then based upon your restraint and so on. So feelings are always going to arise, and it's usually the craving. Craving and grasping is where you have to start the actual process of weakening, keeping the underlying tendencies for overpowering you, and like you're not wanting to scratch an itch, but then if you're observing the itch and the painful feeling and the perception, they're all kind of together, and you have to exert that right effort not to raise your arm up to scratch, because the underlying tendencies are basically the habits. And, the taints are part of the underlying, I mean, the underlying tendencies come from the taints, and they're all kind of intimately interconnected. Ignorance, underlying tendencies, and the taints are the stuff of ignorance. Now,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, I thought that the underlying tendencies created the taints, but I mean they're so intertwined that um, I think I have a good general understanding, but using uh, mindfulness and vipassana, we can actually cut them off at feeling, right? If we're mindful of the feelings, and if we're mindful of our thoughts.
yes, but if you're mindful of the feelings, then you're gonna be aware of the craving or aversion that arises because of the feeling. That's really what you pay attention to. And the feeling already arises. You can't prevent feeling from arise. The feeling is going to arise, and the craving happens simultaneously with it normally. Now,
So
with good mindfulness, of course, you can be aware of the feeling, but then you'll also see the desire to either have that feeling or not, and then the effort not to let the tendency to scratch or move because of the unpleasant feeling, or to want to think about the pleasurable feeling, that is stopped by the restraint and by the right effort.
Mm.
And the phenomena of craving and grasping. So anyway, yes, I mean, usually you start with the mindfulness. I mean, those are the Buddha's instructions, to
Mm.
be mindful of the feelings, and even the sensations arising before the feelings. The contact is producing the feelings, but they arise, basically simultaneously.
Right. So the feelings arise. What really matters is how we respond to them, how we react to them.
How
Um,
you understand it, yes, the understanding that comes with it.
okay. And can I ask my second question now, or would you like me to wait for
Uh,
other people?
no, go ahead.
Okay. So my second question concerns my understanding of the Tathagata. Okay. As I understand myself, and I've been reflecting upon this body mind complex that people call a self, and if I'm progressing properly along the path, I will see this mind body complex as not a self, but as the four elements, and as the and as nama rupa. So I will see it as feelings, perception, uh, contact, volition, and I will see earth, water, fire, and air, and space. And there's consciousness as well that comprises the mind. So through life, if I'm fortunate enough to remove the defilements, the taints, the underlying tendencies, no grasping, no ignorance, then there's nothing left. There is nothing left to fuel consciousness. There is no craving, there is no attachment, there is no ignorance. The mind-body complex, um, the body complex dissolves at death. The energy goes back into the earth. Consciousness no longer exists because there's nothing to fuel it. So at this point, why did the Buddha refuse to at least say that the Tathagata does not exist at death? Because there's nothing there.
Because that's assuming that the Tathagata was a person in the first place. And also, it's not, the Buddha lived for 45 years with full enlightenment.
Mm.
And it wasn't that he didn't have consciousness, he wasn't attached to the aggregates. He still had aggregates, but they're not aggregates of clinging. And so they didn't cause him suffering. But he still had consciousness. He could still think. He still remember. He could talk to people, and so on. So it's not like nothing exists. That's the wrong view. But it didn't. He wasn't clinging to the idea that there's some permanent entity that is inhabiting the body. And he wasn't. He still had consciousness, and he could hear, see, taste, smell, touch, and think. But the main thing is greed, hatred, and delusion are eliminated.
Mhm.
That's the main point to understand. And so that saying that he exists as a person is not right, but saying that it doesn't exist also is not right. Those are the two extremes. That everything exists, something exists, or something doesn't exist. It's about how does it exist. It exists in a temporary state, in a constantly changing state, powered by, the momentum of past karma. That's the right understanding. But he's not clinging to it. That's why a lot of times he said the Tathagata this, the Tathagata that, because he didn't want to use the term I all the time, although once in a while he might have, but he understood that the term I, people start, clinging to it.
Right. Well, looking at myself and this mind-body complex, and my name is just a convention. So once I reach a particular state of enlightenment, this body is just a body. And this consciousness is just a consciousness that ends. It's the the flame is blown out. It just poof. So there is nothing. At least that's how I'm seeing it. Maybe I'm not seeing it correctly.
Nothing is reborn, let's put it that way, at the time of death.
Hmm.
Because the Buddha basically died before he died. So when a person attains arahantship, he died in the sense that there's no more clinging and died to he doesn't even have the idea that I am dying. He said death is occurring. You can probably see the death process happening over, a period of time, but he doesn't cling to it, saying I want to die or I don't want to die. And he just sees it's the extinguishment of the karma. And there's no, clinging or identification to it.
Okay. I need to reflect more. I need to sit more. Thank you for your patience.
You're welcome. Okay, there's something come up in the chat box. Let's take a look at that. Please explain the terms enjoyment, danger, and the escape. Okay, these three terms are used by the Buddha, saying that a person concerning the sensual pleasures and the aggregates, one should know the enjoyment in them. I mean, people do get enjoyment in, the body, feelings, perceptions, volition, and consciousness. They get enjoyment on a relative basis. They denying that. Otherwise, people wouldn't have attachment to it. But one should see the drawback in that gratification, that it cannot be satisfied, because those objects that you are liking or disliking are subject to change at the slightest notice. And then if you're wanting them to stay, then you're going to suffer. So that's the danger, is the suffering that comes from being attached to the gratification. There is gratification, but it's the danger and the pain that comes from it is normally greater than the satisfaction. And you can contemplate this with lots of things. Let's say gratification in food. You go to a restaurant, you eat your favorite food, maybe you eat too much, and then you get a heartburn or something else. And the pleasure of it lasts maybe 5 minutes, less than that even. And then how much scheming and planning, arguing with somebody about which restaurant you're going to go to, and then so many other things, getting in a traffic jam, going to the restaurant, and then for this enjoyment that lasts maybe just a few minutes. You have to put those on a scale, and see which one is heavier. And it will always come out in most cases that the problems and the worry are heavier than the small amount of enjoyment that comes from them. So there is that gratification, but one needs to see the danger, and then one needs to see the escape. And the escape is practicing Dhamma, developing, the Eightfold Path. So did that help? Did that help you? Mr. Ganipola? And where did he go? I don't know. Okay, let's go to the next question. Since practicing mindfulness and meditation there's been expanded awareness, and I find myself observing increased thought, feeling, sensation, activity, and staying awake for a while. I have also seemed to need less sleep, but still feeling more tired or dreamy in observation. The reduction in sleep is slightly greater than the reduction in the need for sleep. Do you have any thoughts on the relationship between practicing mindfulness and increased sleeplessness? Well, being mindful is a very alert state of mind. And that's the mind's natural condition, except our defilements, our worry and other defilements, the mind thinking about the future and the past, too many thoughts, which diminish that alertness, and we get caught up in whatever objects are taking our attention, and it closes down that expanded alertness of the mind. And then your reaction to the stimuli that are coming through, it takes a lot of brain work, brain activity, and that makes you tired, thinking too much. You can have a lot of thoughts going through the mind, but not think about them. They don't last. You just see them as, just a fragment of a thought, but if you don't cling to it, it vanishes very quickly. It's thinking about it and worrying about it and planning and scheming and all these things that tax the mind and induce other types of, thoughts and so on to arise. So when you become mindful, yes, you notice many more things coming and going, but you're not reacting to them. That's the key. Normally we react to the things. Oh, scratch that itch, or think about that sound. Who's doing that talking? And a constant activity. But in awareness, you stop that kind of deliberate mental activity, and you're creating this expanded space that you're seeing and observing many, 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 many things going on, but it's doing that in this still space. So the mind becomes very awake, and especially if you're doing a long retreat and so on, usually that happens when you go on a long retreat and you're practicing, moment to moment attention. The need for sleep gets reduced because the brain is not so taxed and tired out through so much, frustration and other activity. So, and actually on retreats, many retreat centers, they reduce the amount of sleep that you do. Like a lot of them, they have you stay up until 11 p.m. and then get up at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. or about 5 hours sleep. And you can get by with that if you train yourself. But if you're busy, what makes you sleepy is regular life where you have so many things to think about and so on. So when you're doing a period of more intensive practice and you sort of have removed yourself from doing those things, or if you're leading a more relaxed life and not having something places to go every single night and all these hobbies and stuff like that the average person has, wanting to see friends and all that, that is what keeps the mind spinning around. So that is the nature of that relationship between practicing mindfulness and feeling the sleeplessness but the need for sleep. And it's a habit. You can train yourself to get by with less sleep if you are reducing the amount of other, busyness and, agitation and thinking about things as normal. So I hope that helps to answer that question. Okay, that's the end of those chats. Anybody else has a question that they would like to ask? Jack, did that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Hamadru.
I guess I did have. Sorry.
Okay.
Somebody else have a question?
Yes, please. Can you explain clear comprehension, please?
Clear comprehension.
Yes, please.
It means understanding according to the Dhamma, whatever is coming through your senses, whatever you are thinking about or whatever you are doing, you're clearly comprehending. When you're walking or sitting, doing anything with the body, you're understanding. The mind knows what you're doing, and it knows that this is whatever it is it's thinking about the Dhamma is the clear comprehension.
Okay.
The purpose, like the purpose of where you're going. Does where you're going have a purpose? Is it going to be get you in a potential for getting into some trouble, and so on. So it's understanding why you're doing it, your motives for doing things, and is it the right thing to do? Is it the proper use of mindfulness,
Okay.
and so on? That's
Okay.
part of the clear comprehension.
So then,
Mindfulness and clear comprehension.
mindfulness and clear comprehension going together.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Jax, did you have some other question?
Oh, it was just perhaps, I'm curious for you when you were starting your practice, did you know, for me, I'm noticing both more thoughts and then maybe a secondary kind of anxiety reaction to having like, gee, I'm not going to sleep. And I'm thinking that the response to that should also just be more mindfulness. In other words, right, if there's more activity and even reaction to more activity, in other words, if I'm having more awareness and then I'm having sort of a reaction or concern about more awareness, the answer is simply more mindfulness.
Yes, but it has to be, a balanced mindfulness. And, you can reach a point where you can push yourself too far sometimes and thinking you have to stay up. But if you're feeling tired, you try to, resist it a little bit, but at a certain point, if you keep nodding out, then even the Buddha said it's better just to lay down and rest for a bit until that passes off.
Thank you. I think that answers my question.
Okay. But as I said, in some meditation centers, these strict Vipassana meditation centers, or a lot of temples, the monks only sleep about 4 to 6, between 4 and 6 hours, sleep. And even the Buddha recognized that, even less, 4 hours. Actually, I read something in a medical journal too, even by regular doctors, that 4 hours of sleep is enough for people to actually give the mind enough recuperation. and the body, but it should be a deep sleep. A lot of people, toss and turn and get up in the night and so on. And so it's not, it's not a continuous deep sleep. But, they did say, they have said even in the medical journals that I know there's other articles that say that, between now, it's like 6 and 7, even 8 hours is too much now, some doctors are saying. But, people are different. But certainly a person who's not, doing strenuous work or, workaholic types of people and all that, then they need to sleep because they're tearing down the body and the mind. But especially leading a meditative life, then when you're moving more slowly and mindfully, and you're not burning up so many calories, then, the need for so much sleep, becomes less because the mind is just, it's clear, but it's not necessarily active, but it's clear. And it's filled with a very light kind of, space. So it is said like somebody like the Buddha actually didn't really sleep. Their awareness was keep going. Once you attain enlightenment, your awareness is, sort of permanent, but it's not a thinking awareness. It's not a consciousness as such. But it's not a regular person's sleep either. But it's, it's hard to understand that.
I did. It sounds like you're almost saying, right? Like awareness, in other words, doesn't, if the body is like a battery that needs rest, it's not like awareness is a big draw. Pure awareness is not a big draw. It's this thinking, it's the reactions, it's
Pure awareness itself
aggregate.
is the life force.
It sort of is the battery in a sense. I see.
Well, it's connected to it, yeah.
I'm curious for you when you were, if someone doesn't have a question, I'm just curious if when you were beginning your meditation, what was your experience with sleep and the relationship between, meditation and rest?
Well, about what I've been, explaining to you when I was on an intensive retreat and so on. I used to, sleep between about 10 and 4, usually, in the morning.
Okay.
But sometimes it would be later, or get up earlier if I had to walk further to go on the alms round, and so on.
If no one else has a question, I do have another one.
Let me see. There's some more in the chat. Let me go to the chat box again. Oh, and that's the ones you already. There are 2 new. Okay, let's go to these new ones here. I don't see. Oh, what are 8 mindful steps to happiness? Is it a broad subject? The 8 Mindful Steps to Happiness is the name of Bhante Gunaratana's book. One of his books is entitled The 8 Mindful Steps to Happiness. So that's the only thing I've ever seen it used at is the title of his book, and it's The Eightfold Path. That book is about the Noble Eightfold Path. He calls them the 8 Mindful Steps to Happiness. So it's a broad subject. I mean, it's the Noble Eightfold Path is the 4th Noble Truth, the way to live, think, and meditate that will help to unravel the web of karma that we've been cultivating for many lifetimes, and overcoming the defilements. So it is a broad subject. So I would say, well, I don't know, where did you get that? Where did you read that? was it that book? And then read the book. So that's what it is. That would be my answer. Let's see. Okay. Looks like that's the... Okay, anybody coming back to the... Okay, here's another question. From the last couple of months, I'm aware more about the importance of contact and how desire or ill will can arise from the contact. If one is in contact with something not tangible, immaterial, that we feel is scary, such as the ambience in a hospital hall at night time, is taking refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, or reciting the Metta Sutra a good way? Or would you have any suggestions? Well, if you're somewhere and you have a sense of, something is scary or spooky, that's a kind of a feeling. It's a contact with some kind of vibration of your mind or memory, and that is producing, because of contact, arises the feeling. And these are, conditioned from our previous experiences. You think something spooky or scary because maybe you watched too many of these scary movies, or in your own experience as a young person, you had, whatever. It's a lot of it is conditioned by society. Haunted houses, and a ghost jumps out, from the corner. People get scared, scream. A lot of that is just conditioning. And they know nothing's real, but it scares them anyway. They're reacting to these perceptions. So, you can recite taking refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, of course. Learning the Dhamma and taking refuge in the Dhamma is meditating, taking refuge in mindfulness and developing mindfulness and wisdom. That's the real refuge, which is going to help you to not let those type of experiences scare you. And you can deliberately put yourself in those situations. Like if you're scared of heights, go up on high places and realize that this is just, it's in the mind. These memories of things that scare you or fear and of different things are just conditions. So my suggestion is learning the Dhamma and understanding that all these five aggregates, perceptions, the underlying tendencies that we talked about in the beginning, underlying tendencies and the defilements, the mind is producing all these types of conditions. And to understand them and to practice mindfulness so that you don't allow your mind to, overreact in those situations. So that would be my thoughts on that subject. Okay. Is there another question? In the sutta on the series of chariots, the relay of chariots, they're suppressing the five hindrances, so awareness can observe the five aggregates. Yes, suppressing the hindrances makes the awareness very clear, so it can observe the aggregates without reacting to them. But it seems like the way to weaken the hindrances is to see them as the aggregates they are. The hindrances arise from mostly the sankhara, uh, from the sankhara aggregate of the sankharas, the hindrances, sense desire, ill will, restlessness, doubts, and so on. These are all belong to that the aggregate of sankhara khanda. And it's to be mindful of them and then create the antidote so that they stop, wasting your time, or they stop, preventing the mind from gaining deeper concentration. Is there a particular sequence to take given the series of chariots? Yes, that's very clear. The sequence is, just like the Pony Express. You have to ride the first horse to get to the second one, and you have to ride the second one to get to the third one, and the fourth one. So that's the sequence to take in terms of the purification of sila is the first one. So the purification of sila is suppressing the 5 hindrances, and that leads to the purification of the view. Because it allows you to gain concentration. And then the purification of view is then overcoming doubts that arise. So it's those 5 chariots that you have to reach one. Without gaining sila, you're probably not going to overcome the hindrances, because the hindrances, the food for the hindrances, is not practicing the precepts. It's straightforward. And practicing and not gaining concentration is why you don't have a pure wisdom doesn't arise. You have to gain that concentration for the purification of view, to see the emptiness of the aggregates. Is purification of view, understanding the 5 aggregates as being not self, and then overcoming doubts about it. And then the mindfulness of understanding the path and not path, just purely concentrating and developing piti and sukha and getting attached to that and not going on to develop the perception of no self, that's not the end of the Dhamma. So anyway, that's why in the relay of chariots, those 2 great monks, the Puna and Sariputta, were able to explain them in such a nice way. Yes, okay. So, are there any other questions that anybody wants to just spontaneously ask? Okay. So if no one has any other questions, we will take a short break and come back and do some deep breathing and stretching to get grounded in the body, and then have our meditation practice. Okay? So we'll meet back in a few minutes. Okay, friends, so try to stand straight. So, just relax your shoulders, arms at the sides. Keep your chin lifted up, level with the floor. Keep your shoulders back a little bit. Just gently close your eyes. Try to feel the outline of the standing body. Feel the feet pressing the floor. Hands and arms hanging from the side. Try to feel the clothing touching the skin, arms, stomach, chest. And feel your head balanced on top of the neck. Gently close your eyes. Feel your eyes resting in the eye socket. Feel your eyelids stretched over the eyeball. From that point on the eyes, try to feel that outline of the standing body, clothing touching the outer skin, the other sensations generally of the head, arms, legs, feet. And then begin some deep, slow breathing. Try to take 2 or 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, drawing the air into the upper chest, and hold the air in for 2 seconds, and then slowly breathe out, feeling the contraction of the chest, and the last bit of air go out. Just take a few more deep, slow breaths like that, developing this mindfulness. You're breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath in. Breathing out, standing here and now. Feel the last bit of air go out. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to combine this breathing with these movements. We're doing the going into the position while breathing in, holding that position for 2 seconds with the breath in, and then returning to the starting point on the out breath. We try to repeat each exercise 3 times. If you get really exhausted after doing it just twice, you can stop after 2 repetitions. Otherwise, try to do 3 repetitions. And the whole time, just keep your mind feeling the body, letting go of your thoughts, and just try to feel all the sensations and the breathing, keeping the mind in the present moment of breathing and the sensations. And we have a longer pause in between. Okay, so you can open your eyes and observe me as I lead you through it. So on the next in-breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock your fingers, turn the palms up, stretch your head back, look at the back of your hands, stretch up, feel the sensations. And release your fingers on the out breath. Feel the air going out as the arms come down. Then again, in breath. Breathe in, stretch the hands up, bend back a little bit, hold it a little longer. Feel the sensations, feel the arch in the spine. Out breath, arms come down, breath goes out. Once more, and hold that upward stretch longer, bend back a little more. Feel the sensation. Out breath, arm back to the side, feel the air go out. Then relax. Just keep feeling the body. Don't give the mind time to think about something else. Just keep feeling whatever you can feel in the body. The increased pulsation, feet pressing the floor, hands at the sides, the head, just anything. Clothing touching the skin. And just remember standing, standing, standing. Letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Try to hold that outline of the body in the front of the awareness. Okay, on the next in-breath, lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the arms over the head in this way. Face the hands toward each other about 5 or 6 inches apart and stretch up. And the out breath, come back down, arms to the side, feel the air go out. Use the in-breath to help lift up the body. Stretch. Out. Once more, in. Stretch. Out. Relax. Close the eyes, feel the increased sensations. Might feel some itchy, prickly sensations. The legs are pain, clothing touching the skin. Just remember standing, standing, standing. It's clear comprehension. Right now the body is standing. Next, we'll do side bending using both arms. So on the in-breath, raise both arms up over the head. Keep the fingers and arms straight, close to your head. On the out-breath, bend over the right side as far as you comfortably can. Keep the arms parallel to each other. In-breath, lift up. Pause a moment. And the out-breath, other side. In-breath up. Keep alternating sides with the breathing. Out-breath. In. Out. In. once more to each side. The out breath, lower the arms. Relax. Keep feeling the body. Don't give the mind time to be carried away in thoughts. The feet pressing the floor, arms and hands at the sides. Clothing touching the skin, head balanced on top. Itchy, prickly sensation. Present moment, body centered awareness. Remember standing, standing, standing. And notice the different sensations coming and going. Okay, next we'll do the knee bending or squatting. On the next in-breath, you lift up on the balls of the feet, raising the hands up front for balance. On the out-breath, bend the knees, lower the body down, balancing on the balls of the feet. Come down as far as you can. Use an in-breath to help lift up. Feel muscles in the legs, pushing the body up. And out-breath. In, out. In, out-breath, relax. Feel the increased heartbeat, other sensations. Breathing, clothing touching the skin. Remember standing, standing. Present moment, body centered awareness. Starting point for any deeper meditation. Feel the subtle sensation. Okay, now spread the feet apart about 3 feet. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Pull the arms up out at the sides. We're going to do twisting from right to left. Give the spinal column lateral twist. Loosen them up. So breathe in. On the out breath, twist to the right. Keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. Feet can turn a little bit. In the in breath, come back to the front and let the feet turn with the body as you twist to the other side on the out breath. In breath, front, and to the right, out breath. In, out, in. Once more to each side. Relax. Feel each foot pressing the floor. The arms and hands hanging at the sides. Clothing touching the skin. Feel the head balanced on top. Feel the eyes and the sockets. Feel all those vibrations, the prickly sensation. Your legs are pains. This body is just a constantly changing organism. It's billions of cells vibrating, interacting, producing all these different sensations. That's clear comprehension. Thoughts moving to the back of the mind. You can now place the hands together at the chest. On the in breath, raise the hands over the head. On the out breath, hands to the chest, bend the knees, lower down. Keep feet flat on the floor, keep your back upright. On the in breath, feel the muscles in the legs pushing the body up. Second time, try to come down a little more. A little stretch in the knees and the hips. In. Out. In. And the out breath, arms to the sides. Relax. Close the eyes, feel all the sensations. Increase heartbeat and breathing. Relax your pains, clothing touching the skin. Itchy, prickly sensations. Now bring the feet back together. With your head turning from right to left. The in-breath, turn the head to the right. Feel a twist in the neck. Look over the right shoulder. The out-breath, turn the head 180 degrees back to the left. Look over the left shoulder. With a twist in the neck. In-breath back to the right. Concentrate into the neck vertebrae. Imagine feeling them loosening up. Once more to each side. And let the head stop in the center. Here's one last exercise, the backward and forward bending. Return the palms of face outward, touching your little fingers together. So be careful with the back bend, don't bend back too far the first time. On the in-breath, lift the hands up level to your eyes and spread the arms out to the sides as you bend back on the out-breath. Keep your eyes open, look at the ceiling. And carefully lift up on the in-breath, keeping your arms out at the sides. On the out-breath, lower the arms and hands down. Bend forward and down. And keep your legs straight. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. Stretch in the leg muscles. And begin lifting up. Turn the palms outward again. In breath. Raise the hands out. Breath out to the side. Bend back. In breath up. Out breath, downward stretch. Once more. In breath. Out. In. On the third time, try to hold a downward stretch longer. Feel all the sensations. And carefully lift up. Breathe in, bring the hands together at the chest. breath. Feel the whole body vibrating, pulsating with activated life force, awareness, life force awareness. Feel as though you're standing on a vibrating machine, feeling all those vibrations from the soles of the feet to the top of the head. Okay, so now mindfully come back to your seats. Get ready for the sitting.
Bye.
So friends, get comfortable in your sitting posture. Just try to sit straight, aligning your back and the back of your head, spine in a straight line. Just keep your chin lifted up, level with the floor. Feel the natural inward curve of the lower spine. Supports the weight of the upper body. Gently close your eyes. Just feel your head balanced on top. Kind of move the whole head and spine backwards until you feel like you come to the tipping point, whether the body could either tip forwards or backwards. You should be sitting perfectly straight. Just mentally feel that outline of the sitting body. Try to sit like a Buddha statue. Try to feel the outline of the body. Then begin taking a few deep, slow breaths, developing this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath in. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Feel the air going out. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to count our breaths from 1 to 10. Develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with your concentration and breathing. So with the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath in. With the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out. And the next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In 3. Out 3. In 4. Out 4. In 5. Out 5. In 6. Out 6. In 7. Out 7. In 8. Out 8. In 9. out 9, in 10, out 10. Follow that out breath down to the end. Feel the last bit of air go out. Try to hold that pause a little longer. And just let the breath come back in under its own power. Don't force it or control it. Let it come back in on its own. And then just continue to observe the uncontrolled breathing, shorter, uncontrolled rhythm of the breathing. Just keep your attention focused in that center of the body. Try to feel where the clothing rubs against the skin of your stomach, rib cage, your chest, as it expands and contracts. Feel the little pause after the in-breath. Feel the little pause after the out-breath. Just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. You know it by feeling it. Just try to follow those 4 sequential segments of the breathing cycle, the expanding in breath and the brief pause, the contracting out breath and the brief pause, over and over and over and over again. To help stay focused, you can use these brief mental reminders. In, sitting, out, out, sitting, in, sitting, out, out, sitting. We can use this reminder, breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Whichever of those phrases helps you to remember. Just letting go of your thoughts. Just letting go of the past and future. Breathing in. Breathing out. Sitting here and now. This breathing body is the natural connection to the present moment, the present moment awareness. We lose lose that connection to the breathing body, to the present moment. The mind either goes to sleep, gets carried away in so many various thoughts. Just let your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Try to hold that outline of the breathing body and the mind's eye, like you were looking into a mirror, just watching the body sitting and breathing. Feel all those different little sensations of expanding and contracting. Try to feel the breathing within the larger sitting body. Especially following that out breath all the way down to the end. Feel the last bit of air go out. Notice the brief pause for the next in breath. If you still have lots of thoughts, you can try combining the breathing with counting the breaths. See if you can count your breaths from 1 to 10 by yourself without my prompting. And while doing the counting, if you forget where you were counting, start the counting again at 1. So it becomes a challenge not to forget the breathing. So be alert for thoughts trying to sneak in. take some deeper, slower breaths to help stay more concentrated. Feeling all the different sensations coming and going in this breathing body. Just try to notice how each breath is different, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. Sometimes you feel the breathing more in the abdomen, sometimes you feel it more in the rib cage or upper chest. It's always changing. Just try to feel as though you were like a scientist looking down through a microscope, observing an experiment. Experiment of breathing, keeping this body alive. This breath has been going in and out of this body for many thousands times per day. We hardly ever know it. Especially on the out breath, try to relax the body and mind more and more with each out breath. Relaxing into the present moment. Feel all those different little subtle sensations coming and going. Might even feel the heart beating or the blood pulsing. Be aware of any pains that arise. Observe the mind's reaction to pain. Relax. In sitting, out, out, sitting. Be aware of the stream of thoughts moving through the back of the mind. Be aware of thoughts trying to sneak in. If you note them as thinking, following, staying with the body, the breathing. Be aware of any of the hindrances arising, applying the appropriate antidote. Turn up the power of the mental microscope to notice more and subtler detailed sensation in the breathing body. Being aware of the five aggregates. They're continually coming and going. Sensations, feelings, perceptions, thoughts or urges, ego consciousness. mind becomes dull or too many thoughts, do some more deep, slow breathing. Stay awake, alert, centered in the body. Breath by breath, moment by moment. You have good awareness of things just arising and vanishing, coming and going, that expanded space, the breathing body, even the feeling of body might dissolve. You just feel like being an empty house. With nobody home. What feelings or thoughts arise due to that contact, that hearing? Sambe sankhara anicchati yada panyaya pasati atanabindati dukhi Esamago Visuddhiya. All conditioned things, the five aggregates of this body, mind, and world are impermanent. They arise only to briefly last, then vanish. When one sees this with the eye of wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with self-created suffering. This is the path to purity, to freedom. Thus spoke the Buddha. Now I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly. Do that chanting on a long out breath. Feel those vibrations in the body and mind. So take a deep breath. Sadhu. Breathe. Breathe. Now place your hands at the edge of your knees. Take one more deep breath. So breathe in, stretch your head back. Pull the hands against the knees to arch your spine back. Look up at the ceiling. Let out the breath. And breathe in, lift the head up, and on an out breath, press the chin to the top of the chest. To stretch the neck vertebrae. And breathe in, lift the chin up level, and relax on the out breath. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends. This brings our evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice to an end. Until next week, try to try to meditate at least once or twice a day. The M&M, stopping every hour, come back to the body for 1 minute, letting go of that mad rush to the future. Okay.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you.
So we meet again next week. If you come, I'll try to send out a topic for next week's discussion. And don't forget, mindfulness a day keeps dukkha away.
Thank you, Bhante. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.